Please welcome founder and chief experience officer of MadPow and founder of this conference, Amy Cueva.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the 8th Annual Health Experience Design Conference. This conference gathers people united by a shared purpose to humanize the health system and improve health outcomes through design, psychology, technology, and innovation. And we started the conference 8 years ago, independently. And over the years, we've partnered with organizations, Health 2.0, for example. And this year, we're back independent, and we're more energized than ever to convene a community of people who are passionate about purpose-driven and human-centered design in health. Our goal with this conference is to create a place where researchers, strategists, technologists, business people, and innovators can all convene and share our victories, our challenges, our vision, and our ideas so that we can walk away from this conference with the inspiration, the relationships, the tools, and the tips that we need to help us along the journey of transformation. So where have we been? Well, this conference is a little bit different. This conference was designed by designers, and we like to push the envelope and get people outside of their comfort zones. And we do this by inviting related disciplines to the table, by bringing the future into the present, and by always maintaining a holistic focus. And past conferences, if you've been here, you've seen Regina Holiday, who's a renowned speaker, and she helped us feel at our depths the change that needs to happen in health. And Governor Charlie Baker, Governor of Massachusetts, joined us 2 years ago, and he shared with us how the health innovation community can begin to address the opioid crisis. At this conference, we've explored how essential social determinants of health and mental health are to our overall health and well-being. We've looked at the overlap of food and health, if we are what we eat. And we've also meditated. We have done laughing yoga, and we've actually all danced, dance party 3 years ago. It was a lot of fun. But more importantly, we heard what matters most to patients, to families, and to caregivers from them. And we dove deep into how empathy and research-inspired design can fuel our inspiration, our creativity, and give us the motivation to make the change that is needed. And so much change is needed. As we look at changing the behaviors of the people we serve and helping them to achieve their goals and achieve greater vibrancy, we can consider what's most effective in helping people to change their behaviors. And that's why positive psychology, motivational psychology, and organizational psychology have always had a place at this conference so that we can truly deliver behavior change, engagement, and culture change. And this is important because modern innovation isn't just about creating shiny objects anymore, but instead springs from brilliant and often surprising connections. And those connections are made through clarity of purpose. Last year at this conference, I talked about the concept of purpose-driven design, which basically takes human-centered design to the next level beyond usefulness and usability and into social impact. Through purpose-driven design, we address how we might shape our organizations to deliver real meaning and value to the people we serve, with the belief that ultimately that will lead to our revenue and profit objectives. And we also explore through purpose-driven design how we might collaborate with others who share our purpose so that we might start to address unmet needs, bridge gaps, and truly transform the system. So what's going on at the conference this year, you ask? Well, I want to get off stage as quickly as possible because I'm so looking forward to the speakers that we have lined up who are going to inspire us. First off, we're going to consider what is our ethical responsibility with the solutions we're creating, and what is going to be the impact that we have with these experiences and solutions and technologies, both positive and negative. What are the unintended consequences? We'll learn about a new clinical diagnosis, which is gaming disorder, and that helps us know the seriousness of digital addiction. And I encourage you to visit the Designer's Oath, which is an exploration of our personal commitment to ethics. And with that exhibit and on designersoath.com, you can actually craft your own oath or work as a team inside your organization to craft an oath. At this conference, we are going to be rocked to our core as musicians from Berklee School of Music share songs that they wrote for social impact, sharing how they were affected personally by sexual violence, relational issues, mental health challenges, and trauma. And it's common sense, but an increasing body of research shows us that trauma can have long-term effects on both our physical health and our behavioral health. Now, it's very encouraging that mental health and addiction are gradually becoming destigmatized in the industry, and there are so many more solutions on the market that we're hoping will make an impact, some of which will be spotlighted in the digital interventions for behavioral health track at this conference. But we still have a long way to go when it comes to designing for mental health and integrating it into the solutions we create. We especially need to support children, adolescents, and adults who have experienced a trauma. In fact, addressing trauma is key to breaking the cycle of intergenerational poverty. We're going to have a representative from the New York City Mayor's office who's going to share what they're doing, leveraging human-centered design to envision a better future for the citizens of New York City and to improve health by addressing trauma and intergenerational poverty and racism. And we're also going to consider how we might design for those in crisis and how we can overcome barriers to health inequities. So, how can we not just walk the walk with innovation, but also talk the talk? How do we bring the amazing experiences that we envision to market? And how do we transform cultures so that they are more person-centered and embrace change? These are very good questions that we hope we'll find some answers to in tracks here at the conference. And we're going to highlight innovation happening in insurance, in pharma, hearing from patients, the partnership role that they'd like to have with pharmaceutical companies. And with health systems, we'll look into what are the patient experience measures that matter and will truly lead to transformational improvement. Health is still the #1 reason for bankruptcy in the United States, and over half of Americans don't have the savings to afford a $400 emergency. Health insurance plans, as we know, are very difficult to understand, and more of them come with higher and higher deductibles. Now, this leads to a lot of financial volatility and stress. Now, health and finance are interconnected, for better or for worse. So how might we help people to understand this connection and plan for it? We're going to be looking for answers to these questions this afternoon in the track Navigating the Logistics and Finances of Health, and via a design and innovation challenge that we are announcing tomorrow. We'll also do a deep dive into the nuts and bolts of designing solutions that will be valuable to the people we serve. We are going to look at creating behavioral personas with a tool we created called Impact. We're going to look at how interactive journey maps and ecosystem diagrams can help immerse stakeholders in research insights and help them to envision the solutions that we're planning. And we're going to look at the science of behavior change and look at a toolkit that we can use to design for that behavior change. And there will be a puppet show at this conference. We'll also make pipe cleaner hats. And of course, because no conference would be complete without embracing our inner child and pushing through the invisible barriers that can hold us back. So we all come to the work we do in health fired up by a passion to make change. And this is what unites us at MadPow, where we're designing for change. As a strategic design consultancy, our goal is to provide our clients with good business results and better health and well-being, financial well-being and wellness to the people they serve. And we do this through experience innovation, behavior change design, and digital solutions. We've built a new methodology at MadPow that blends scientific method with creative process. And this is really important in health as we're working with scientists and clinicians. And we're not just looking to design shiny objects, we're looking to actually make a measurable impact. So essentially, we've evolved design thinking in a positive direction, focusing on purpose-driven, outcomes-focused, and evidence-based design. And this approach is yielding good results. For example, in partnership with Truth.org's Become an X smoking cessation program, we were able to move the dial on leading indicators that affect quit rates for smoking. And personal health assessments can be a sterile and arduous chore that sort of nobody wants to do. But we had the opportunity with New Ocean Health Solutions to design a health assessment that actually provided value to everybody involved, the person filling it out and the organizations looking to support them. And with Cincinnati Children's Hospital, we were able to work with stakeholders to build empathy for patients and families so that they could align business objectives with patient and family needs and prioritize systemic investment on the initiatives that will provide the most value and impact. So, what does the future hold? Well, we've come so far. Design, empathy, and collaboration are now discussed in health when you go to other health conferences where used to not exist. And so we've come a long way, and even, I would argue, farther than other industries with regard to really driving toward social impact and really embracing that empathy. So where will we go in the future? Well, I think we'll continue to explore how do we weave interaction with AI, with interaction with humans, so that the human connection isn't lost, but instead made more timely, more relevant, more personal, and more valuable. Obviously, of course, considering the ethics involved there. And I think we will be hearing more about transition design and systems design as we try to untangle and solve the wicked problems that face us in health. And I think this is going to involve deliberately convening interdisciplinary stakeholders from business, economics, design, psychology, and myriad disciplines to come together and figure out how do we reinvent the systems that serve us. I want to know what you think of this conference, because we always want to make it better. I want to know what you want to see next year. And you are invited to join this community, a community of influence. The HXD conference community has inspired and informed so many people over the past 8 years, but we wanted to create a place where it happens year-round, and a place where people could connect to share insights, network, learn, and build relationships. And so we created the Center for Health Experience Design. Now, in the center, we've completed several multi-stakeholder collaborations, and we have also tried out different engagement models for membership. And through research and iteration, we've narrowed in on a membership offering that provides a great deal of value. And in fact, membership is opening today, and there's a place for everyone, from individuals to corporations. Catherine will be going into the benefits of center membership later on this afternoon, and I encourage you to please stop by the booth and learn more about it and get involved. And the online community for the center is free, and it's open to everyone. And it is the social platform for this conference. It is where we are going to post presentations, with speaker permission, of course, and it's where you can start conversations about the topics we're discussing here. So please download the Mobilize app or go to centerhxd.com and click on community, and you can get all set up. So at last year's conference, I shared how my mother had been recently diagnosed with a glioblastoma, which is an aggressive form of brain cancer. And how the resulting experiences that my family had with the health system helped me to understand that it's only when you're lost in the system that you become aware of how far we actually need to go to change it. In order to truly understand what people are facing as they navigate this health system, we need to come as close to the lived experience as possible. And of course, we can do this through ethnographic research, and we can get creative with it and do intercepts in a hospital or listen to calls with an insurance company, or even do things like a selfie video journal, which helps us understand and get insights of the journey across time. And we can also bring patients, caregivers, families to the table of innovation, to design with them as opposed to for them. Participatory design and co-creation can help us to do just that. And we can immerse stakeholders in the design process, embracing our role as storytellers so that they can hear the voices of the people they serve and see them and understand their challenges and obstacles and start to see the world through their eyes so that they can start to marry business objectives with patient needs. So last year, my mom shared a message with us, a video message, and it was so powerful that I'd like to share it with you again. And so I'd like to introduce you to my source of inspiration, my mom, Claire.
When I was in the 4th grade, one day this nun breezed in and she said, I want everybody to break up into groups and to brainstorm. Now I want you to come up with an idea that can change the world. And so we all brainstormed, and the only group that came up with anything was our group. And so Sister said, well, what did you come up with? And we said, well, we would like to give the nuns a party. Well, a beautiful thing happened. The other grades from kindergarten to 8th grade heard about this, and so all the parents got involved thinking it was a wonderful idea. And for 3 or 4 days, parents and kids came up to the convent and brought these wonderful meals, these wonderful desserts. And then I came away with the feeling that I can change the world. I wasn't put on here, on this earth, for myself and what I could do for myself. I was put on this earth for what I could do for others. And that has been like a miracle for me all my life. I think the hardest thing was that I kind of fell through the cracks. By the time that they discovered that I had a brain tumor, it was my chiropractor who discovered it. But I was disappointed to think, and I've heard of other situations where symptoms were not picked up that could have been picked up sooner. Okay, and I don't know how that can change. Maybe healthcare professionals can not minimize patients' symptoms and maybe see the whole person and, listen more carefully to them. And there was this one sweet doctor who listened to me. He heard me say to my husband, Paul, if this CAT scan that they do comes back negative, I'm going to go out and we're going to buy ice cream and I'm going to go home and make us a nice big sundae. So when they did the CAT scan and they saw a lesion, it was like, I'm not going home. But this doctor said, what can I get for you? And I said, oh, nothing. And he said, no. He said, you wanted an ice cream. And I said, no, that's okay. He said, no, I'm going to go and I'm going to get you some ice cream. And he got us 2 chocolate-covered Dove bars, my husband and I. And I said to him, you've got your crown waiting for you in heaven. The neurologist saw me as a person who had a heart and a soul. He saw me as a whole person. But that was the best thing he could have done. It was the kindest thing he could have done. I've been a nurse for over 58 years. And so from my perspective, it's always been about compassion. A lot of nurses said to me, a lot of nurses are compassionate. They have it in their heart. But a lot of nurses don't. They just sit at the nurse's station with their big computers, and they're like this, doing all their work that they have to do. But the work of compassion has kind of eluded them. It's something that has to be learned. We think the brain is the most important part of our body, but actually it has very few blood vessels. It's the heart that's the most important. That's what I'm asking people to think about. How do you relate to people? Is it more with your brain or is it with your heart? Because the heart is the seat of wisdom and love. And this is where we're going to get the compassion from. The world goes better with a lot of love. and compassion. And when you think of other people first, happiness is going to sit on your shoulder. It's incredible. When you're thinking of other people, you are happy. And you see what a difference that you make in the world. One of the things that has happened for me that's been unbelievable, I never knew how much I was loved by people. And I never knew how much I touched other people's lives. I was filled with peace and joy when I was diagnosed. And it's given me the opportunity to call everybody and ask them for forgiveness, to say, I forgive you for anything I've done to hurt you, and I hope you'll forgive me. I would just encourage people here today just to reach out to either person on your side, introduce yourself, say hello. It's so nice to meet you. Glad to be here. And if you see them in the corridor, say hello to them. And if I am here that day, which I hope I am, come over and give me a hug, because I'm a great hugger, and I give great hugs.
So a little update, my mom's doing really well. Her tumor shrank 80%. And she's walking again. She's a miracle and a blessing, and actually she's right here, so stand up, Mom. Please do say hello to her and hug her if possible. Last year, everybody's like, is your mom here? Where's your mom? Where's your mom? I'm like, okay, next year. Hopefully she'll be here, and thank God she is. So I do want to echo my mother's words that please use this conference as an opportunity to meet amazing new people, to connect, to build relationships. I do believe that we are the design, the work we share, the relationships we build, the collective ingenuity present in this room all have the opportunity to amplify our efforts so that we can truly change the world. And I encourage us to be bold in pursuit of our purpose. And I hope you enjoy the conference. Thank you so much for coming.